Today, the Spirit Most High, I want to go over a few things. Number one, the origin of spirits, demons. Okay. Within that, over through the Spirit Most High, we can show how they function through mankind. How we have to guard our vessels because they need vessels, right? And that's why this whole law is it's about self-examination. It's the admitting that you don't have full power over yourself if you're not following what the Most High says. There's a compromising within us. It comes from what we're going to discuss today. Okay. We're going to even touch on like sicknesses briefly. Right. So a lot of their functions and let's say how they operate. Right. So let's go. Let's start with what Paul says in Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. Because it's out of ignorance and denial, the whole world is deceived of this fact. Even though we entertain it in movies, we don't believe that it's so. But Paul is saying this for a reason. So we might think that, like as we have discussed multiple times, like, you know, we have an argument with someone that's picking on you or trying to tempt you. We look at that person, right? The Bible encourages us to look a little deeper. Okay. Paul says in Ephesians 6:12.
For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
So why is Paul saying that? If it's not so, right? Paul was given a revelation by Yeshaya of things that are really factual, right? Because for we fight not against flesh and blood. So no fight that we have with flesh and blood is the origin is not of flesh and blood. There's a deeper premise, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's a deeper premise for these stripes? Do everyone know what premise means?
Reason.
Like the root of the like the core of, like, get down to the nitty gritty. Like this is the real reason. You know what I'm saying? No, under all the surface stuff, this is the common denominator. How you say it? You know what I'm saying? It's the origin of the source. For we wrestle not with flesh and blood, but against principalities, right? So what's that? Principalities.
Rulers, like above, things that
Are you there, Charles?
higher than us.
Yeah.
You're getting there.
Okay.
Had the page out.
Torn up your book?
Yeah. New.
We got from church. They must want you to read that right there. So you said what now?
Like principalities, like government, things that are higher, like over us, things that's above us. That really,
Things
we don't
that-
have any control.
Things that Satan is using to
Yeah.
control us,
Yeah.
right? He can't, without mankind assistance, he'll fail.
Ah.
He needs something that we can see,
Mhm.
right? He needs vessels. So the Bible says that this is his world. So he set up a system that's totally against God's people, right? Or anyone that's choosing to seek and serve the Most High. Then it says against powers. What are powers?
strong.
Nope. I prayed when I was doing the Hebrew Credo. I said that word.
Oh,
What's power?
high.
Nope.
God's.
God's.
Okay.
Power is another word for God. I said higher our God is more power. Right? Powers are God's. So he's telling you that we fight against gods, right?
Mhm.
Against rulers of the. See, didn't he explain to what he's talking about? Against the rulers of darkness, right? In this world. Against what? Where were that?
Against spiritual wickedness.
Against spiritual
in
wickedness in
places.
high places, right? So that's the origin of everything. All wickedness. Okay? Let's go to Revelation chapter 12, verse 9. We're going to revisit this chapter later on, but we're just going to get the scripture right now. Revelation 12, verse 9.
And it reads, "And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him."
So here it's telling us Satan was cast out before he tempted Eve, right? And then he was cast out and banned from returning. Okay? So this explains something to you. He influenced the angels first before he influenced man. Okay? So he says, that old serpent, something that we can relate to. We didn't see it go down up in heaven, so now he's giving something we can relate to. That old serpent that he was talking about up in the Garden of Eden, that's Satan. That's the devil. He's the ruler of these powers, right? He's the king of the principalities. Okay? That's why the rulers of this world, they know who they serve. Yes.
I was just saying, and without those vessels, he wouldn't be able to do it. His plan wouldn't work if he didn't have that many people following him.
Who would he influence?
Do we?
No, I'm saying though, like if well, when we get later into this lesson, is it? Hey, you give me a hug, and you gotta chill out, okay? They're gonna teach a class that you can't get everything all the time. Okay? There go your truck right there. There your monster truck. Go ahead and play with it, okay? So we're gonna get into some examples.
Okay.
That's why I said it's important to read this book, because I'm telling you, Higher shows us so much more than what you see, right? We're gonna see how one of the most wickedest men that ever lived. Okay, no, Hitler was not that guy. The people that were over Hitler was more wicked than Hitler. Hitler is not. Yeah, Hitler was not what his story has told us. Okay, but in the Higher story, this one guy, NASA, he was something else, right? But I'm gonna show you the two scriptures, a difference between when you're listening to Satan and when you're not.
Bob was up.
Hmm?
Bob was up. You said NASA.
Manasseh. Come on, scriptures. Scriptures.
You said NASA. There was a guy.
Manasseh.
Right. There was a guy with NASA.
I'm talking about biblical.
Right up to the guy.
Biblical.
Okay.
But King Manasseh, king of Judah. Okay. Okay. Luke chapter 10. Did you bring that court? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You gonna need your book too. Verse 18. Now, this is Christ confirming. This is Christ. Oh yeah, thank you so much. Here's Christ confirming what Paul is saying. Because there's a lot of people say, a lot of people they think that the devil and all that stuff is just a fantasy, a myth, right? But seriously, the majority of the world, like you said, the biggest, what do you say, the biggest trick, the biggest what, biggest, no, the biggest
trick he ever played on the world was making him think he didn't exist.
He don't exist. Right. So let's get it. Christ's gonna say that he witnessed something. Go ahead.
The book of Luke, chapter 10, verse 18, and it reads, "And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning falling from heaven.
Falling from heaven.
Behold."
No.
Stop it.
Stop that. Right? So say he was cast out. So Christ saying he witnessed Satan getting cast out.
The Big Bang.
The Big Bang?
It's the Big Bang. That's where the theory came from.
Oh, okay. Big Bang.
Behold.
No. Genesis chapter 3, verse 11. So now that Satan has been relegated to the earth, right? Let's get it.
Verse 11.
Now he's angry.
And he said, Who told thee that thou was naked?
No, 15.
15. Salah.
15?
Oh, sorry. 1 to 15.
Oh.
3, 1 to 15?
Yeah, I was wrong.
Okay.
Yeah. So now he's angry, right? Ahia has created his image in the form of man to give him dominion of this realm, right? And Satan wants rulership. Only way he can get rulership is by getting Adam to fall, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he can't get Adam face to face. So he deals with his wife. Yeah. Let's go.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3, starting at verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Ahia had made.
So again, he needs a vessel. Not this man. He needs a fleshly vessel. Okay?
And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden?
Now, this may sound strange to those who don't understand what's going on right here. It says, now the serpent. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, remember when Christ was on earth and he would talk to the spirits, not to the person?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So it's not the actual serpent. It's the demon that's inside of him, right? The spirit's inside of him. But at this time, guess what? The animal spoke too. The animal spoke. Like on cartoons, the animal spoke. So it's not a strange thing for a serpent to speak to Eve. Okay? Yep. Let's get it.
Verse 2. And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of every tree, every fruit of the trees of the garden.
So that's showing just because you know the commandments, don't mean you're gonna keep them. The people that think because we're Israel and we so-called follow laws and commandments that you're safe, right? This is a constant obedience walk, right? Eve had full understanding about what Ahia said. Her husband's fully explained it to her, but she was able to be tempted through her own lusts. But let's go.
But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God had said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die. For God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil.
Now, check it out. How Satan kind of spent the truth. Haya told Adam, in the day that you eat of this fruit, you possibly die, right?
Mhm.
So Eve was thinking, perhaps, if I eat this fruit, I'm going to die immediately. But Haya said, in that day. What does that mean?
Within that 1,000
In
years.
a 1,000-year period.
Come.
So Satan is saying, you ain't going to die if you eat it right away. But he had that other part, but you're going to die. You know what I'm saying? But you will be like us, knowing good and evil. So he told a little truth, and he withheld the truth. Go ahead.
Verse
That's his
6.
pattern. Go ahead.
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise.
Now check it out. Every tree in that garden is look good to eat, right? But now something is manipulating her mind, and that's what we got to check ourselves about. I was saying earlier how sometimes you don't have full power over your thinking. These demons are influencing you, right? It's like advertisement. It's like an invisible advertisement to sin. What's going on up in Eve's head? All these trees, she can eat any. I can't even imagine how I look up in the Garden of Eden. You know what I'm saying? But it's one tree, Satan convinced her this is the best thing popping right here. You know what I'm saying? So let's go.
And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. And the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked.
Now check it out. Christ says that the nations are wiser than God's children, right? Because there's an innocence that's been played upon. Like, it's a lot that my son don't know, you know, because he's innocent. He's breaking that right now, though. but it's like that he don't understand. Someone that has that knowledge can influence them because they have extra knowledge over that person, right? So when Adam listened to his wife, even in the book of Adam and Eve, he said when he opened the mouth, Satan came out. So Satan was telling Adam something that he never heard before, right? But let's go. So he ate too.
And the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together.
Check it out. When it said the eyes were open, the eyes were also closed. How were the eyes closed for those who read more deeper than what's in the 66 or the 80?
Because it really took them out of the spiritual connection that they had.
Yeah, like Haya said, he closed. He can see the heavenly realm anymore. Like Adam used to talk to the angels, see the angels, talk to him, right? So it put a chasm between the earthly and the spiritual. Yeah, go ahead.
And they sewed fig leaves together, and made themselves aprons. And they heard the voice of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of God amongst the trees of the garden. And the Lord God called unto Adam, and said unto him, Where art thou? And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself. And he said, Who told thee that thou was naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat? And the man said, The woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat.
Check it out. Satan has accomplished his mission. He has taken dominion. This is the first act that Satan did to take dominion of this realm. So for Satan to rule, right, God's people, they must do what? Break the commandments, right? So he had to create a system and convince us to break God's commandments, or he can't rule. This is how it all started right here. You had to get to the origin to get to the other stuff. But in order for Satan to rule, he must promote disobedience. Therefore, he had to deceive. After this right here, he had to deceive the world that, like he said, I'll be like the Most High. And like I was explaining to a brother the other day about doing research, Because he was testing about the name of God. He said, but it says Yahweh is the name of God. I said, that's true. I said, but because the whole world's convinced that they have their own personal relationship with God through Satan's deceiving, you know what I'm saying? They can serve it higher how they want to, so therefore God's in their life. They have Satan give them this feeling. He answered his prayer, so they think that God, you can't tell them nothing because God is with them. That's them coming as angel light. So when you do research, you see, yeah, Yahweh is the name of God. This. I said they tell you the truth. It's in your face. That's the name of the God of this world. It's not the creator. So it would fool you when you do your research and say, well, this name is of God. They'll tell you, like, same way Satan told her that you're going to die, but you will be like us. He puts stuff right in your face, but he's still withholding something. That's just his pattern. That's how he gets down. Right? He put the good in before you, and he kind of hold the bad, and then he crash.
So he's just lying.
He's the father of the lie. Right?
Mhm.
He's the father of the lie. This is the first lie that was told on earth. All right? I don't know what he said up in heaven, but on earth, this was the first lie that was told.
Must not be good.
Couldn't be. Right. But let's keep going. So I'm showing you this is how he has to function to have dominion. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 14, and the Lord God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and the dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life.
Let me ask y'all a question. Do serpents eat dust?
La,
What's he talking about right there?
Dying?
people.
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 You destroy people all days of your life. That'll be your mission. If we're going to get to that in a minute. So people think a snake eat rats, birds, all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Who's made out of dust? Mankind. Right? And dust you would eat.
Good teaching.
Yeah. So let's get it.
Verse 15, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel.
That's it. So from this point on, it'll be a war between good and evil, between God's seed and Satan's seed. But that war will be spiritual. You know, it'll play out in the physical. The war is really spiritual. Let's go to Book of Adam and Eve. I'm going to read it. Y'all don't have it? And let Satan talk for itself.
No, I don't have
Page 135. No, I'm gonna start at. Yeah, I'm gonna start at 137. Okay, right there. I read it. It says, and with the heavy sigh, the devil spake. This is right during the same time period, right? O Adam, all my hostility, envy, and sorrow is for thee, since it is for thee that I have been expelled from my glory. This dude can't stop lying.
Man.
Adam ain't did nothing to this character, right? He was cast out before he even did this. Do you see what I'm saying? There was war in heaven first. But instead of him recognizing what it is, he's still passing the buck. Same way, so that's another thing we understand. When we lie, the spirit has had the dominion over us, right? It's like Eve lied. Adam lied. Well, Eve didn't lie. Adam lied. He said, it's the woman that you gave me. As they said, my bad. It was my fault. We passed the buck, right? So Satan, he just can't take the blame for nothing, or none of his children. That's why even in his system, it's designed against our people. You know, they can say, like for example, during chattel slavery period, if they killed one of us, they would blame it on the slave, because no way would a man destroy his property. So it's something that the slave had to do, right? So serving their father. But let's get back to it. It says, since it is for thee that I have been expelled from my glory, which I possessed in the heavens in the midst of the angels, and for thee I was cast out in the earth. Adam answered, what dost thou tell me? What have I done to thee, or what is my fault against thee? Seeing that thou hast received no harm nor injury from us, why dost thou pursue us? The devil replied, Adam, what dost thou tell me? If it is for thy sake that I have been hurled from that place. When thou was formed, I was hurled out of the presence of God and banished from the company of the angels. When God blew into the breath of life, blew into thee the breath of life, and thy face and thy likeness was made in the image of God. Michael also brought thee and made us worship thee in the sight of God, in a higher spake. Here's Adam. I have made thee in our image and likeness. And Michael went out and called all the angels, saying, worship the image of Ahiah, as Ahiah has commanded. And Michael himself worshiped first. See the humility? Archangel, right? He said the example. Now this doesn't mean worship. This is respect. That's all he's saying. Respect what Ahiah has done, what he has created. Then he called me and said, worship the image of God, the Lord. And I answered, I have no need to worship Adam. And since Michael kept urging me to worship, I said to him, why doest thou urge me? I will not worship an inferior and younger being than I. I am his senior in creation. Before he was made, I was already made. It is his duty to worship me. Do you see the attitude that's prevalent today? Right? That's why even in this body, and we in doing the highest work, it don't matter how long somebody been doing something for. You know, Satan was created first. That's true, but the highest purpose was for you to respect his creation. He was doing something different with this creation than he did with you. Right? Same thing. This brother can come in, you know, for 6 months. I've been for 10 years. That don't mean nothing. We're working for this. Satan was gonna get the same benefits as Adam. It's the same for everybody. But the high just had different orders, different things. He had for different creations, but you still have the blessings of him, right? When the angels who were under me heard this, they refused to worship him. And Michael said, worship the image of God. But if thou wilt not worship him, Ahiah will be wrath with thee. And I said, if he be wrath with me, I will set my seat above the stars of heaven and be like the Most High. And Ahiah was wrath with me and banished me and my angels from our glory. And on thy account we were expelled from our abodes into this world and hurled from the earth. Remember Christ said that? And straightway we were overcome with grief, since we had been spoiled of so great glory. And we were grieved when we saw thee in such joy and luxury. And with guile I cheated thy wife, and caused thy to be expelled through her doing, for thy joy and luxury, as I have been driven out of my glory. When Adam heard the devil say this, he cried out and wept and spake, O Ahiah, my God, my life is in thy hands. Banish this adversary far from me, who seeketh to destroy my soul, and give me his glory, which he himself hath lost. And at that moment, the devil vanished before him. So did Ahiah answer Adam's prayer? You said no.
I said, come.
So that's really when you say resist the devil.
Resist the devil. Yeah. But fear Ahiah first. You know what I'm saying? Adam was very repentant. Yeah. So I'll read some more. Let's get it. First, page 130. I wasn't going to read this, but I'm going to read some of this. First one.
Verse 1?
Yeah, I'm just going to give y'all some background, some more information on what we just read that just happened. I ain't going to do it all, but I'm just going to give y'all some. When we were driven out from paradise,
The first.
first verse 134, on,
Yeah.
on the left hand side, because it's two different writings. When we were driven out of paradise, they made themselves a booth and spent 7 days mourning and lamenting in great grief. But after the 7 days, they began to be hungry and started to look for victuals to eat. And they found it not. Then Eve said to Adam, My Lord, I am hungry. Go, look for something for us to eat. Perchance Ahiah will look back and pity us and recall us to the place in which we were before. And Adam arose and walked 7 days over all that land and found no victuals such as they used to have in paradise. And Eve said to Adam, Wilt thou slay me that I may die? And perchance God will bring thee into paradise. On my account hast thou been driven thence. Adam answered, Forbear, Eve, for such words, that peradventure Ahiah bring not some other curse upon us. How is it possible that I should stretch forth my hand against my own flesh? Nay, let us arise and look for something for us to live on, that we fail not. And they walked about and stretched forth for 9 days, and they found none, just as they were used to having in paradise, but found only animals' food. And Adam said to Eve, This have Ahiah provided for animals and brutes to eat. But we used to have angels' food. What's angels' food? Man. Yep. But it is just and right that we lament before the sight of Ahiah, who made us. Let us repent with a great penance. Perchance Ahiah will be gracious to us and will pity us and give us a share, something for our living. 135 on the left-hand column. And Eve said to Adam, What is penance? And remember, they naive to all this. We don't need for them to repent, right? They never experienced nothing like that before. So what is penance? Tell me, what sort of penance am I to do? Let us not put too great a labor on ourselves, which we cannot endure, so that Ahiah will not hearken to our prayers, and will turn away his countenance from us, because we have not fulfilled what we promised. My Lord, how much penance hast thou thought to do? For I have brought trouble and anguish upon thee. And Adam said to Eve, Thou cannot do as much as I, but do only so much as thou hast strength for. For I will spend 40 days fasting. Sounds familiar?
Mm-hmm.
The first Adam fasted 40 days, the last Adam did too. But do thou arise and go to the river Tigris, and lift up a stone, and stand on it in the water up to the neck in the deep of the river. What's that stone? Christ. We must stand on that foundation. Right? And let no speech, hey, y'all still cursing this right now. And let no speech proceed out of thy mouth, since we are unworthy to address the higher, for our lips are unclean from the unlawful and forbidden tree. And do thou stand in the water of the river 37 days, but I will spend 40 days in the water of Jordan. Perchance Ahiah will take pity on us. And Eve walked to the river Tigris and did as Adam told her. Likewise, Adam walked to the river Jordan and stood on a stone up to his neck in water. And Adam said, I tell thee, water, Jordan, grieve with me. Now check out, remember how I said everything was spirits?
Mm-hmm.
I tell thee, waters of Jordan, grieve with me, and assemble to me all swimming creatures which are in thee, and let them surround me and mourn in company with me. Not for themselves let them lament, but for me, for it is not they that have sinned, but I. Forthwith all living things came and surrounded him, and from that hour the waters of Jordan stood still, and its currents were stayed. Right now, I'm gonna go back to now all the creatures prayed for Adam. Right, but I'm gonna skip over back to the right side of 134, and it's gonna get this part real quick. And for 15 days continually we entreated, Then we heard Michael, the archangel, and Joel praying for us. And Joel, the archangel, was commanded by Ahiah, and he took a seventh part of paradise and gave it to us. Dang, what I want to read. No, I'm right here. 135 on the right column. Then the devil approached and stood before the oxen and hindered Adam in tilling the field and said to Adam, this is past what we just read about. Mine are the things of the earth, and things of the heavens are God's. But if thou wilt be mine, same thing to Christ, right? Thou shalt labor on the earth. But if thou would be God's, pray, go away to paradise. Adam said, the things of heaven are the Lord's, and the things of earth and paradise in the whole universe. Now check this out, right? This is a time where Adam fools Satan, okay? The devil said, I do not suffer thee to till the field, except thou write the bond that thou art mine. And these contracts are bonds. Even when Esau came to Jacob, Jacob made him sign something. So Satan know how it operates with these oaths, okay? So say with him to write this down, like you're mine, you're not a highest, okay? He want that true dominion. It says, then the devil was overcome.
Adam replied.
Adam replied, whosoever is Lord of the earth, to the same do I belong and my children, right? So Satan know that he has dominion now, but Adam is speaking deeper than what Satan is talking about. He just said, all things belong to a higher. Even though you have dominion right now, it don't belong to you. So I belong to a higher and my children, not you. But he gonna sign this thing, and he gonna kind of like deceive Satan. It says, then the devil was overcome with joy, but Adam was not ignorant that a higher would descend on earth and tread the devil underfoot. Now remember when we read in Genesis 3:15, it says that he would bruise you in the head and he would bruise in the heel.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're talking about. The highest through Christ is going to destroy Satan. It says, write me that thy bond, and Adam wrote, who is Lord of the earth, to the same do I belong and my children. The higher, right? Satan thought he did something. But Adam said, Eve, since thou, no, I'm gonna stop there. I got all into that.
Yeah.
Let's go, Genesis chapter 6. Now, we read earlier. I just want to show you the origin of let's see how about it's deeper than this sin. It's about and that's what the war is all about, dominion. Right? Two kings cannot be king of the world at the same time. Okay? So right here, Satan has taken dominion through Adam's disobedience of the world. Remember everything, like Adam spoke to the water, it stood still. So it wasn't just Christ. See what I'm saying? Adam told the water, stand still. All the fish, everything came to Adam and prayed for Adam. Everything loved Adam. It's like right now you got a dog, your dog loves you. Everything, even the angels, loved Adam. Okay? Still to this day, right? So, now, Satan needs, Satan needs help, right? Because not only him to get cast out, but his angels get cast out too, right? To have dominion, you have need for what? Servants, right? And not only servants, you must have a kingdom. So now, as I said, a servant seed and Israel seed, okay? The woman's seed is about to be developed. Read verse 1, please. Chapter 6, Genesis.
And it reads, and it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair.
Now check this out. There's people on this earth right now that say that these are Cain's children, right? That ain't talking about the angels, okay? How did they multiply? before this right here.
Before this?
Mhm. They were given to marriage, right? So they had Cain married his sister, and they did that. They kept on, yeah, they had children. So now they populate. So now there's more vessels that demons can enter and rule, right? So they say that these are Cain's children. I don't know where they get that from, but it don't make no sense. But let's go. Go ahead.
That the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose.
Remember, fair means beautiful, right? So these are the Canaanite women. Go ahead.
And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years.
Now, there's a lot going on right now. Unclean spirits can only reside in unclean vessels. Okay, that's the point of fasting. When you clean your vessel out, there's no they can't occupy that. They can't control you. Right? So Cain's children were not serving a higher, so they were unclean vessels. Okay, so the highest is not only talking about mankind, because it's a hybrid going on right now. There's the spirit world that came down to the flesh, so the rest of it came to the ancestral, right? Have created a hybrid species. And I'm gonna get this, but these giants, these first giants right here, guess how tall these giants were?
Oh, 15 foot. Yeah.
15 foot.
18,
What do you think, Mike?
18, something like
Like higher than that.
What do you think?
that's what I was
Like about 20 feet.
20 feet? What do you think, Roland?
I'm not sure.
Okay. We're gonna get to it in a minute, but it's gonna explain to it. There was someone was 11,250 feet. It says 3,000 L's. 3,000 L's is 11,250 feet.
Wow.
Okay.
So they can pick us up in their hand.
They're talking in buildings, bro. Your hand.
They fingertips. They smashing the whole house.
I'm saying they can put their hand down and and we can get
We had to
Bro,
take a plane and fall on it. We had to.
when our people was going into the land of Canaan, to our land, they reported back and said we was like mere grasshoppers to them. How tall are you over a grasshopper?
Very.
You know what I'm saying?
I can
So,
crush it.
right. So, a higher is pronouncing something deeper than that, though. He's pronouncing the consummation of the time, consummation of sin, right? It's talking about 120 jubilees, right? When this is over with, 120 jubilees, sin is out of my face. Never will exist again, right? But let's go.
Verse 4, and it reads, There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons
So, in those days and after that, because the time that I just spoke about when they said that we're like mere grasshoppers, that was after the flood. This is prior to the flood. Okay, but let's go.
and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown.
Renown, men of great stature, of respect. These were some real killers and warriors. Okay. Now let's get it. Enoch, chapter 6. So I'll explain to you what it was really all about. And we're going to get to the origin of these demons. Because these ain't the demons that the movies are made about.
It's in your
It's in your book. You up, Mike? You up? We talking about it right now. Y'all ready? Chapter 6, verse 1.
Okay, Jeremiah.
191. I read it. Now, when we get to naming these demons, I'm not going to say names. I'm going to skip over that, okay?
Right.
It says, and it came to pass, same thing that we just read in the Genesis, right? Remember, our records are of greater detail than this overview in the book of Genesis. And it came to pass when the children of men, it's going to explain to you why that belief of the sons of God being fleshly men is false. But this book right here is going to explain to you that it cannot be so. Even in the Bible, it's going to explain that it's not so. Verse 1, and it came to pass when the children of men had multiplied, that in those days were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters. And the angels, right? And the angels, the children of the heaven, saw and lusted after them, and said to one another. So see how that just broke it down? Let's know it ain't talking about no Cain's children. Okay. Come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men, and begot us children. Now, these 200 angels that's speaking right now, that's in this congregation right now, were originally called the Watchers.
Okay.
Right? Their job was to watch over us, help us, minister to us, report back to a height. Okay? What? That same original dragon, that spirit, influenced them. So this ain't the same fall that happened at first. Here's another fall. This is only 200 angels. This ain't myriads. Myriads are a third of angels. This is only 200 of some other angels, but a whole other functionality they had was going on. Satan and them did what they did during creation. Okay. Eve in here, they did. You know what I'm saying? No, they probably dead now. You know what I'm saying? But this is a whole nother situation going on. These angels are different from the original ones that fell. Come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men, and beget us children. And who was the leader right here? Who was their leader, said unto them, I fear ye will not indeed agree to do this deed, and I alone should have to pay the penalty of a great sin. Now, you see that? He knew exactly what his penalty was. But Satan has influenced them to die over this. Right? And these are angels that see the highest face. Okay? Seen his power. Witnessed him create everything. So let us swear an oath. See how powerful them oaths are? Let us swear an oath and all bind ourselves by mutual imprecations, not to abandon this plan, but to do this thing. Then swear they all together and bound themselves by mutual imprecation upon it. And they were in all 200, who descended in the days of Jared on the summit of Mount Hermon. And they called it Mount Hermon, because they had sworn and bound themselves by mutual imprecation upon it. And that's what y'all see in the Paramount pictures. When you see the stars coming from heaven, stuck around Mount Hermon, they're showing you that they are the guys over, everything. Yeah. But no, they show it to you. They put it on your face, man. It says, and these are the names of their leaders. You'll leave that alone right there. Right? It says, chapter 7, and all the others together with them took unto themselves wives, and each chose for himself one. And they began to go into them and to defile themselves with them. And they taught them charms and enchantments. So at this time, this is some new technology. This is the end thing. Some men right now, Today, a man would be getting credit for these things. He invented this, invented that. But they knew at this time who it was. They respected these giants. They were like, they was the men of renown, something new. So he taught them charms and enchantments and the cutting of roots, putting spells on people and stuff, right? And made them acquainted with plants. So teaching them all kinds of stuff, how to make drugs and all this stuff, right? And they became pregnant, and they bare great giants, whose height was 3,000 ells. Then I'm playing, somebody on their phone, put in, how many feet is 3,000 ells? You know, y'all see it for yourself. If watch the Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to.
Yeah.
Were they giants before having sex with these women?
Yeah,
How did they come up though?
they raped these women.
I mean,
How do you rape them anyway? If you
they way up there to sound like an ant.
Hey,
They
hey,
must just shout out.
they did what they did. It's probably, I won't get all graphic today, but I'll
But
leave
maybe
it
they made
alone.
themselves small, like you said.
Whoa.
They had to do something. To be a spirit, they had to conform.
1,125 feet.
You hear what I said earlier?
Yeah.
Oh, so that's a 250, yeah. 1,025 feet. Yeah,
Damn.
1,200.
250, 50,
1,125 feet.
50. No,
Well, that's what Google
I got it
said.
11,250 feet.
yeah, that's a mile.
11,250.
250.
11,250. Okay, your mom. Oh, yeah.
You know,
I know, it's like.
That's crazy.
Sure, all right.
yeah. Anyway, let's get it, right?
Imagine, it's a magic.
Okay, well, let's check it out. Who consumed all the acquisitions of men. And when men could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against them and devoured mankind. And they began to sin against birds and beasts and reptiles and fish. And now check it out. I'm trying to tell you. As I told my wife earlier, I said, I don't care what nobody say. You can splice any animal on this earth, it would not be a giant. Right? The sin that the angels did was what?
Had sex with the beast.
With
Creation.
creation, right? So now it says they begin to sin against, what does it say?
Birds,
Birds,
beasts, and
fish.
reptiles and fish.
So everything they had sex with became a giant. Now, it goes later and talk about how they splice the animals, but they splicing the animals that they already sinned against. So that comes, you get like I said, you get a horse. If you can do a horse with a little hot dog, that hot dog ain't gonna be no giant. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that became giant is things that they went into. And this is the origin, like I say, of bestiality. Like mankind just didn't say, I want to sleep with this dog. A spirit did that first. The same spirits that's ruling this world.
Yeah.
So when it goes as far as they slice animals again, this is the sin that the Bible is talking about. They sin against man and they sin against beasts. And everything we have proof in the ground right now that was that was larger than it was supposed to be. Okay? So therefore, I had to bring a flood to destroy what's going on, or all mankind would have died. Not only was the giants eating the people, the beast was too. This is imagine you are playing in the field and this big old bird. As a matter of fact, I seen an eagle.
T-Rex.
Huh?
Yeah.
No, not a T-Rex, bro. If you, I seen it a lot of times though. It's showing these big old eagles, like
Getting them babies and stuff.
not even the babies, no, like mountain lions
Oh,
coming down, boom, and every time running and grab the thing and got them. Didn't I say one time, but he came out for a person.
yeah.
The person had friends, or they came and fought him. You know what I'm saying? Got them off of him. But that's an eagle. Imagine these big old things. It's coming out, boop, and scooped you up. You know?
Pterodactyl.
Yeah. So check it out. Now here we go, ladies. Listen to this closely, okay?
I want to hear it.
Because y'all know it's coming. Those who heard this before.
I want to hear it.
And blank taught men to make swords and knives and shields and breastplates. So he taught them how to defend themselves and kill for war. Okay? And made known to them the metals of the earth and the art of working them. This is where you get all your Yeah, what's up?
That's right. No, I was just, you talking about the
Oh,
nails and stuff.
Yeah,
Zinc, copper.
all that stuff, everything, you know.
How to make a shower was hard, was soft.
But not only that, how to oppress mankind with them, to create a whole system of make that value. You know what I'm saying? Now men were killed for these things, right? So it says, and bracelets and ornaments, and the use of anatomy and autonomy, and the beautifying of the eyelids, women. That's the origin of that. So why did they bring out the beautifying of the eyelids?
Because of the eyes.
Men to stumble.
Hmm?
Because it's gonna cause men to stumble.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
It said, yeah, yep. He gave the women the ability to transform themselves, right? Like wife talking about this the other day. Friend, yeah, she had a friend who got a daughter. Don't look like nothing. Yeah, don't like nothing. Like a little kid or something. Yeah. Now she one of these little models for the little alcohol things, but it's transform you into Jezebel, basically. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, you know, a virtuous woman, a woman of the Most High, her glory is what's inside. You know what I'm saying? And it's a fight because you see the origin of it. Every woman want to be beautiful. Hey, how he created you beautiful when you came out the womb. You know what I'm saying? But every woman want to have that independence. You know that I look better than her, or whatever it is. They come from right here. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying what the Bible say. So anyway, y'all know what I'm talking about.
oh yeah, we know.
Right. And all kinds of costly stones, and all coloring tinctures. And there arose much godlessness. That's not, now you got it's horrible right now. And they committed fornication, and they were led astray, and became corrupt in all their ways. Blank taught enchantments and root cutting. Blank resolving of enchantment. So now you can cast a spell, you can take the spell away. Yeah, and then it says blank the constellations, how to read the stars, the knowledge of the clouds, how to control the weather and stuff. Blank the signs of the earth, blank the signs of the sun, and blank the course of the moon. And men perished. They cried, and their cry went up into heaven. And then Michael, Uriel, and Raphael, and Gabriel looked down from heaven and saw much blood being shed upon the earth, and all lawlessness being worked upon the earth. And they said one to another, the earth made without inhabitants cries the voice of their crying up to the gates of heaven. And now to you, the holy ones of heaven, the souls of men make their suit, saying, bring our cause before the Most High. And they said to the Lord of ages, Lord of lords, God of gods, King of kings, God of ages, the throne of thy glory standeth unto all the generations of the ages, and thy name holy and gracious and blessed unto all the ages. Thou hast made all things, and power over all things hast thou, and all things are naked and open in thy sight, and thou seest all things, and nothing can hide itself from thee. Thou seest what blank has done, and have taught all unrighteousness on earth, and revealed the eternal secrets which were preserved in heaven, which men were striving to learn. And blank, to whom thou hast given authority to bear rule over his associates. So that's one of Satan's top names.
The leader.
The leaders,
Wow.
right? Remember, Satan is on their title, right? It means adversary of God, right? Adversary. So High has given him rule over all his angels. Not all, but the third of angels in these two. And they have gone to the daughters of men upon earth, and have slept with the women, and have defiled themselves, and revealed to them all kinds of sins. And the women have borne giants, and the whole earth has thereby been defiled with blood and unrighteousness. And now, behold, the souls of those who have died are crying and making their suit to the gates of heaven, and their lamentations have ascended and cannot cease because of the lawless deeds which are worked on the earth. And thou knowest all things before they come to pass, and thou seest these things, and thou doest suffer them. And thou doest not say to us what we are to do to them in regard to these. To these. Then said the Most High, the Holy and Great One spake, and sent Uriel to the son of Lamech, and said to him, Go to Noah, and tell him in my name, hide thyself, and reveal to him the end that is approaching, that the whole earth will be destroyed, and a deluge is about to come upon the whole earth, and I will destroy all that is in it, that is on it. And now instruct him that he may escape, and his seed may be preserved for all the generations of the world. And again, Ahijah said unto Raphael, Bind blank hand and foot, and cast him into the darkness, and make an opening in the desert, which is Dudael, and cast him therein, and place upon him. Now, for those who know, this is the pyramid Giza. It's the only pyramid that was made not with man's hands. This is the prison for this angel that taught men all these sins. And place upon him rugged, rough and jagged rocks, and cover him with darkness. And let him abide there forever, and cover his face that he may not see light. And on the day of that great judgment, he shall be cast into the fire, and heal the earth with the angels, which the angels have corrupted, and proclaim the healing of the earth, and they may heal the plague, and that all the children of men may not perish through all the secret things that the watchers have disclosed and have taught their sons. And the whole earth has been corrupted through the works that were taught by blank. To him ascribe all sin. And to Gabriel said Ahijah, proceed against the bastards and the reprobates, and against the children of fornication, and destroy the children of fornication, and the children of the watchers from amongst men, and cause them to go forth. Send them one against another, that they may destroy each other in the battle. And like the elder brought out a long time ago, that's from a movie, Clash of the Titans. It's coming from this right here. For length of days shall they not have, and no request that their fathers make of thee shall be granted unto their fathers on their behalf. For they hope to live in eternal life, and that each one of them will live 500 years. And Ahijah said unto Michael, Go, bind blank and his associates, who have united themselves with women, so as to have defiled themselves with them in all their uncleanness. And when their sons, like see, when he's binding them, he put them in hell, but hell is a prison, right? And when their sons have slain one another, and they have seen the destruction of their beloved ones, bind them fast for 70 generations, which is, it ties into that 120 Jubilees. In the valleys of the earth, to the day of their judgment and of their consummation, to the judgment that is forever and ever is consummated. In those days they should be led off to the abyss of fire, and to the torment and the prison in which they shall be confined forever. And whosoever shall be condemned and destroyed will from henceforth be bound together with them. This is why I keep us informing us. He don't want us to go to this place. This place was not created for us. It was for these beings. But whoever follow these people will go right with them. It says, henceforth be bound together with them to the end of all generations, and destroy all the spirits of the reprobate and the children of the watchers, because they have wronged mankind. Destroy all wrong from the face of the earth, and let every evil work come to an end. And let the plant of righteousness and truth appear, and it shall prove a blessing. The work of righteousness and truth shall be planted in truth and joy forever. I'm going to skip down to 12. I'm gonna start at verse 16. Where am I at? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, 12 goes.
Yeah.
He's straight.
Yeah, I just read all that.
Go straight, read.
I'll keep going. How did I mark that? Oh no, I'm tripping. I'm supposed to go to 16:4. Okay,
16:4.
chapter 16. I'm supposed to read chapter 12 to 16:4. That's what it had me messed up. Like I got the chapters. I got 6 through chapter 10, verse 16. But I was reading like chapter 12, verse 16. So here we go.
Where we at?
Verse 12, chapter 1. I mean, verse 1. Before these things, Enoch was hidden, right? Hidden. And no one of the children of men knew where he was hidden and where he abode and what had become of him. And his activities had to do with the watchers. And his days were with the holy ones. And I, Enoch, was blessing the higher, the Lord of majesty, and the King of all ages. And lo, the watchers called me, Enoch, the scribe, and said to me, Enoch, thou scribe of righteousness, go declare to the watchers of the heavens, who have left the high heavens, the holy eternal place, and have defiled themselves with women, and have done as the children of earth do, and have taken unto themselves wives. We have worked great destruction on the earth, and ye should have no peace, nor forgiveness of sin. And insomuch as they delight themselves in their children, the murderers of their beloved ones shall they seek. And over the destruction of their children they shall lament, and shall make supplications unto eternity. But mercy and peace shall they not obtain. And Enoch went and said, blank, thou have no peace, and a severe sentence have gone forth against thee to put thee in bonds, and thou shalt not have toleration, nor request granted to thee, because of the unrighteousness which thou hast taught, and because of all the work of godlessness and unrighteousness and sin which thou hast shown to men. Then I went and spoke to them all together, and they were all afraid. Now imagine all these giants being afraid of Enoch. They knew how he was with Enoch. And fear and trembling seized them, and they besought me to draw up a petition for them that they might find forgiveness, and to read their petitions in the presence of the Lord of heavens. For from thenceforth they could not speak with him, nor lift up their eyes to heaven for shame of their sins, for which they had been condemned. Then I wrote out their petitions and the prayers in regard of their spirits and their deeds individually, and in regard of their requests that they say that they should have forgiveness and length. And I went off and sat down at the waters of Dan, in the land of Dan, to the south of the west of Hermon. I read their petitions till I fell asleep, and behold, a dream came to me, and vision fell down upon me, and I saw visions of chastisement, and a voice came bidding me to tell it to the sons of heaven, and reprimanding them. And when I awake, I came unto them, and they were all sitting gathered together, weeping in wherever, which is between Lebanon and Sinner. I said,
Senescer.
yeah, with their faces covered. And I recounted before them all the visions which I had seen in sleep, and I began to speak the words of righteousness, and to reprimand the heavenly watchers. The book of the words of righteousness. One more minute.
14.
The book of the word of righteousness and of the reprimand of the eternal watchers is in accordance with the command of the Holy Great One in that vision. I saw in my sleep what I will now say with a tongue of flesh and with the breath of my mouth, which the Great One has given to man to converse therewith and understand with the heart. And he has created and given to man the power of understanding of word of wisdom. So have he created me also and given me the power of reprimanding the watchers, the children of heaven. I wrote out your petitions, and in my vision it appeared thus. that your petition will not be granted unto you throughout all the days of eternity, and that judgment has been finally passed upon you. Yeah, your petitions will not be granted unto you, and from henceforth you should not ascend into heaven until all eternity. And in bonds on the earth, the decree has gone forth to bind you for all the days of the world. Yep. And that previously you have, and that previously you should have seen the destruction of your beloved sons, and ye should have no pleasure in them, but they should fall before you by the sword, and your petitions on their behalf should not be granted, nor yet on your half, even though you weep and pray and speak all the words contained in the writing which I have written, and the vision have shown me thus. Behold, in the vision's clouds invited me, and a mist summoned me, and the course of the stars and the lightning sped and hastened me, and the winds in the vision caused me to fly and lifted me upward and bore me into heaven. And I went in till I drew nigh to a wall which is built of crystals and surrounded by tongues of fire. And it began to affright me. And I went into the tongues of fire and drew nigh to a large house which was built of crystals. And the walls of the house were like a translated floor made of crystals. And its groundwork was of fiery cherubims, and their heaven was clear as water. A flaming fire surrounded the walls, and its portals blazed with fire. And I entered into the house, and it was hot as fire and cold as ice. There was no delight of life therein. Fear covered me, and trembling gat hold upon me. And as I quaked and trembled, I fell upon my face, and I beheld a vision, and lo, there was a second house, greater in every respect. It so excelled in splendor and magnificence, and extent that I cannot describe to you its splendor and its extent.
I skip it around.
Yeah,
Greater than the former, and the
I read
entire
that.
portal.
Read that one.
remember,
Back in 15,
Go back to 14.
14.
and fear, right, where no delight of life therein. Fear covered me, and trembling gat hold of me upon me. And as I quaked and trembled, I fell upon my face, and I beheld a vision, and lo, there was a second house. I read this, greater than the former.
Right there.
Okay, and the entire portal stood up open before me. Remember, the portal is that doorway, right?
Mhm.
And it was built of flames of fire. And in every respect, it excelled in splendor and magnificence and extent that I cannot describe to you its splendor. I read it. Describe to you its splendor and its extent. And its floors was of fire, and above it was lightnings, and the path of the stars, and its ceiling also was flaming fires. And I looked and saw therein a lofty throne. Its appearance was as crystal, and the wheels thereof as the shining stars. And there was the vision of cherubims. From underneath the throne came streams of fire, flaming fire, so that I could not look thereon. What's all this flaming fire stuff? Angels.
Okay, okay.
The angels are fiery stones. Right? See, he's only describing what we can conceive in the physical. You know what I'm saying? He can't really tell you what it is. He's describing what we can relate to. You know what I mean? And the great glory sat thereupon. His raiment shone more brighter than the sun, and was whiter than any snow. None of the angels could enter or could behold his face by reason of the magnificence and the glory, and no flesh could behold him. The flaming fire was round about him, and a great fire stood before him, and none around could draw nigh him. 10,000 times 10,000. What's that? 10,000 times 10,000.
Whole lot of zeros.
No, 1,000 times 1,000 is a million. That's like 100. What's that? Like 100 million, a billion or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Up there.
Stood before him. Yet he needed no counselor. And the most holy ones who were nigh to him did not leave by night nor depart from him. And until then I been prostrate on my face, trembling. And the higher called me with his own voice, with his own mouth, and said to me, Come hither, Enoch, and hear my word. And one of the holy ones came to me and waked me, and he made me rise up and approach the door. So how he is, like, stand up. I don't play that. Get up. It's like, stand up like a man, right? Ain't nothing to fear. You here with me. And he made me rise up and approach the door. And I bowed my face downward. And he answered and said to me, I have heard his voice, and I heard his voice. Fear not, Enoch, thou righteous man and scribe of righteousness. Approach hither and hear my voice. And go say to the watchers of heaven, who have sent thee to intercede for them. You should intercede for men, and not men for you. Wherefore have ye left the high, holy, eternal heaven, and lain with women? You defiled yourselves with the daughters of men, and taken to yourselves wives, and done like the children of earth, and begotten giants as your sons. And though ye were holy, spiritual, living the eternal life, you have defiled yourselves with the blood of women, and have begotten children with the blood of flesh. And as the children of men have lusted after flesh and blood, as those also do who die and perish. Therefore have I given them wives also, that they may impregnate them, and beget children by them, that thus nothing might be wanting to them on earth. But you were formerly spiritual, living the eternal life, and immortal for all generations of the world. And therefore I have not appointed wives for you, for as for the spiritual ones of the heavens, in heaven is your dwelling, and on earth shall be their dwelling. Evil spirits shall proceed from their bodies, because they are born from men and from the heavenly watchers. Did I?
Yeah.
Okay. And now the giants who are produced from the spirit and flesh shall be called evil spirits upon the earth. Thank you for that. And on the earth shall be their dwelling. Evil spirits have proceeded from their bodies, because they are born from men and from the holy watchers, and from the holy watchers is their beginning and primal origin. They shall be evil spirits on earth, and evil spirits shall they be called. As for the spirits of heaven, in heaven shall be their dwelling. But as for the spirits of the earth, which were born upon the earth, on earth shall be their dwelling. And the spirits of the giants afflict. So this is what I was talking about earlier. We said I fight with not flesh and blood. This is what they do. Okay? They afflict, oppress, destroy, attack, do battle, and work destruction on the earth, and cause trouble. Y'all hear that though? So it's mankind. They have influences. Okay? They are demon possessed. Okay? And it says
They take no food.
they take no food, but nevertheless hunger and thirst and cause offenses. So again, like that's why we talk about all the time about fasting. This is how you get rid of them, because they used to eat heavenly food. So the desire to eat is still in them, but they can't eat, right? They can't go to heaven and eat that. So they starve. So therefore, the inner people, and that's where you get that from. So I'm leaving it at that. Okay. So, and these spirits shall rise up against the children, and thirst and cause offenses. And these spirits shall rise up against the children of men and against the women, because they have proceeded from them. From the days of the slaughter and destruction and death of the giants, from the souls of whose flesh the spirits having gone forth, shall destroy without incurring judgment. So they're going to be destroying until judgment comes. Okay?
Mm.
That's why how it says, dust you should eat. Right? Thus shall they destroy until the day of the consummation, the great judgment in which the age shall be consummated. Over the watchers and the godless, shall be wholly consummated. And now, as to the watchers who have sent thee to intercede for them, who had been aforetime in heaven, say to them, you have been in heaven, but all the mysteries have not yet been revealed to you. And you knew worthless ones, and these in the hardness of your hearts have made known to the women, and through these mysteries women and men work much evil on earth. Say to them therefore, you have no peace. So because they have no peace, they want us to have peace. Let's go to Matthew 24:37.
Let me know when you get close. I'll put this stuff in.
Okay. 24:37. So now, Ahia has given them their judgment and told us about their functionality, right? So now you've seen it in Christ's day in full action. We are 37 through 39.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 or 27? 24, verse 37. But as the days of Noah, Salaki.
Noah.
But as the days of Noah were, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
Now check this out. Christ sounds a whole lot right here, right? Now we just read about what's going on, how the earth is full of violence, right? It's an earth full of violence.
Yes.
Okay? The giants was ruling the world, right? The giants are still ruling the world. They're not 1,000 feet tall no more, but the children of them are ruling this world and doing the exact same thing. Okay? They're sleeping with animals. They just lawless, and they promote the same wickedness that their fathers promoted, right? People like I was talking to my business partner a couple days ago. We had a meeting, and we were talking about these trucks and stuff, and how this be paid off in 2020. I'm like, bro, I don't really care. The system ain't gonna be around in 2020. You know what I'm saying? But it might be. You know what I'm saying? But in my mind, it ain't. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not living like these people are living. Like he think the world will keep on going. And that's what it's saying. They be building the houses, they fixing the roads up, they still got their projects going on, they don't see destruction coming. And Wednesday in class, we're gonna go through some stuff where Ahia's gonna show you that even though all these things are going on, they never took heed that my judgment was right there. Because these are the signs I told you. When you see these things, my judgment is not. Right? So let's go to so let's be careful, because he says, it's like the days of Noah, people think they had time. It never rained before. For those who don't know, before it flooded, it never rained before. Okay? The scriptures with the scrolls will show you that the rain comes from the sea. The dew comes from heaven. The dew has healing power in it. Okay? And so that's what it did. It just had this great dew that came down. It nourished everything. It watered everything, and that was enough. It was sufficient for everything. So man was laughing at Noah, saying he was crazy. It never rained, and it went no water by this big old boat that him and the angel was creating, making the stuff. You know what I'm saying? They thought it was crazy. 120 years, Noah preached. Noah, Methuselah, all them brothers preached. Enoch, they all preached. You know what I'm saying? So what does Noah preaching? Yeah, it's a bunch of righteous men before Noah's flood came, right? But how put them to rest? He didn't kill them; he put them to sleep. Now, he didn't want them to go through this judgment because that judgment was for the wicked. It was not for the righteous. There is no judgment for righteousness, right? So let's go. So let us take heed of that and not think as those in Noah's day and think we got time. Let's go to Jude verse 6. Right before the book before Revelation. So as y'all can see that these demons are real, you know, and I said all the time, keep that in mind because it helps us deal with each other, right? So, you know what I mean? So if somebody say you have a spirit on you, recognize it. You know what I'm saying? Don't take offense to it because it says the demons cause offense.
No,
So-
that scared me when I hear it. I'm gonna tell you. the
Yeah,
truth.
but like okay,
I've been trying to play it on.
yeah, you get mad.
You got eyebrow, but
But there you go, right? But there you go, right? It said demons cause offense, right? So somebody one's here acting out of character, you know, of character of Christ. And somebody say, well, you know, a demon in you, right? How a demon cause offense? Make you think somebody is talking about you or mean something evil about what they're telling you. When they're saying, bro, you got a demon in you, bro. Work on that. You know what I'm saying? Suppose you can take offense because demons cause you to think some other stuff. If that demon has given you the intent of this brother or that sister, it's a lie. But it's to cause us to strife. You know what I'm saying? So
like when I think the whole congregation against
that's
me,
demons in you, bro.
I'll be like, bro,
Yeah.
ain't like that.
But that's what they want you to do.
But you come back.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Let's get it.
That's right.
Verse 6.
Wow.
Hey, but you know what? Hold on. You know what? I'm gonna read this right here. I'm gonna go a little farther in verse 6. Let's take heed to what Jude is saying, right? Because we have to listen, huh? No, it's only one book. But check this out, right? Remember how he was judging them angels, putting them up in prison, right? There's scriptures that say that hell has excited herself, right, for the coming of these spirits. Remember, the earth is a spirit
Right.
who love her children. There's scriptures like in the book of Baruch and stuff, and it talks about. I read to my wife a couple days ago. When we get back into our land, how our earth is, how our land is going to protect us. Our land was how he was using. Well, the how he was doing it, but he was given the charge. But he was using the beast, the land, everything to destroy the Gentiles coming into Samaria. When the king of Assyria had captured us and removed us from our land and put these Gentiles in our land, they were getting taught the frame. So you know what I'm saying. So when we go back to our land, the Gentiles gonna be getting taught the frame because they be trying to war against us. But how said he'd be a wall of like a flame of fire surrounding us, and they'll be taught the frame. So I'm telling you, for real, bro. How don't play? Yes.
It's just, when you say that, it just shows you how the world has really assimilated everything that's in the book. Because that's what they do when they're in doing their satanic things. They put that wall of fire around them. And they make what's in the middle precious, It's just thinking. How they do everything so opposite, but it, mimics everything the book says.
What did he say? He'd be like God. But on this potential, because like he was describing this place, he don't have no desire for any of us to go there, right? So take heed to what Christ said about it's like Noah's day. But check out Jude though, right? Beloved, when I gave all diligence to write unto you, verse 3. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Beloved, when I gave all diligence to write unto you of the common salvation, it was needful for me to write unto you and exhort you that ye should earnestly contend for the faith which was once delivered unto the saints. So, he wanted to write something else. He said he had to exhort us and remind us of some things, okay? Because a lot was going on in these churches back in the day that's going on right now in the world. He said, mindful of our common salvation, no matter what title this brother got, it don't mean nothing. We all have a common salvation. We all want to walk through those gates, right? So check it out. For there are certain men crept in unaware, who were, remember talking about them vessels, right? Who were before of old ordained to this condemnation, ungodly men. Now, is he talking about the men or these same spirits that we just read about? Ain't no such thing as no men of old. You know what I'm saying? Men of old dead, right?
Yeah.
So they crept in unaware. It's like, it could be Brother Ma'ad. The spirit didn't gather me and now I'm deceiving you. This was what's going on, right? So now, no, this is talking about this is the church, bro. This ain't got nothing to do outside the church. So that's one thing I love about this book. It's talking about us, those who are in the knowledge of Christ. And at that time, this whole time here, these are the ones who are in the church, in the knowledge of Christ, have the faith of Christ. Outside the world, they don't believe in Christ, right? But he talking about Jews, talking about the congregation, my brother. So let's forget about them. Let's focus on the enemy within, that Satan has placed within, okay? So it says, verse 4, for there are certain men crept in, they just snuck in that thing, unawares, who were before of old ordained to do this condemnation. So this was their work. It said that these demons would do this, right? This is what I ordained them to do. Until the judgment comes, it's what y'all gonna do. You're gonna destroy it, right? Yep, he does, right? Ungodly men, turning the grace of our God into lasciviousness, right? So now, see, when Jews say that, he got to be talking to the brothers. Because the brothers are the only ones in there that know about grace. They know that we don't live under the letter of the law. But we live by the law. But now there's a grace. So people like us couldn't inherit the kingdom. Because without this grace, none of us will inherit the kingdom. So these are people who know what Christ has taught and what the apostles have been teaching. They have been conquered by these spirits. Now, lasciviousness, what's that?
Like filthy desires.
Yep.
Filthy sexual desires.
So saying because we got grace, we can continue to sin and do all this wickedness, right? And denying the only power of higher. And our master is Shia the Messiah, right? So for them to say that, to turn grace into lasciviousness, is denying a higher in Christ. How's that? Tony.
Not following the statute.
How is that, Tony?
Denying Christ.
And a higher. For check out, let me read again. I would just stick with me, right? It says, turning the grace of our God into lasciviousness. What's that, Tyler?
Filthy desires, filthy sexual desires.
So he turned. So it's saying that, like I said, we can do these things because we have grace. Okay. Then it says, and denying the only God and our Lord Yeshua the Anointed. What's Jude saying right there?
I don't know, say it, huh?
I'm taking that when you're not obeying the laws and commandments and not living by them, you're denying those Christ and higher.
Mm-hmm.
And by like the lady speak,
Believe in what you're thinking. Say it.
yeah, and then by just believing it and preaching it and not living by it, you denying him because he's telling you to live by this.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're not doing it, you're doing wrong.
Check it out. It says right here, right? Verse 4. That these spirits or men who've been used by these spirits, it says, ordained to this condemnation.
Mm-hmm.
Condemnation means you going to hell and you've been destroyed. You're condemned, right? You're going to hell. You're getting destroyed.
Okay.
So check this out. We've been reading about hell. Okay? All these lessons, we've been talking about hell and stuff, right? And I say all the time, yeah, Christ is a savior, but he's also a what? Destroyer. Right? So you're denying, first of all, what the book say. If you believe, anyone believe that, okay, I got grace, I can sin, you don't fear a higher. You see what I'm saying? But and then you're denying the power that higher has used his son to operate in you. These brothers baptized, my brother. They members of the congregation. They didn't get baptized, cleaned up, and lost their fear and understanding, and have got conquered by these demons. And now they're denying the power that the higher has given them, the Holy Spirit. You see what I'm saying? See, the Holy Spirit ain't dealing with these brothers no more because they conquered by these demons. But whenever, like that's what High said, all those that will be destroyed have despised his law. They had denied his law. And what you're saying is right. You know what I'm saying? They're not living by it. They're teaching some other stuff. Because going bad, doing bad. You know, like Satan want everybody to go down him. So if I want to live my life in sin, I'm gonna convince this brother, hey bro, yeah, man, see scripture say this. See me now, man. It said El tripping, man. El tripping, no. See, it said we can do this. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So now we spreading poison. Right? But let's keep going. But that's how the demons operate. Right? So pay attention. Verse 5. I will therefore put you in remembrance. This is what he's telling us, right? I will therefore put you in remembrance, though ye once knew this, how Ahiah, having saved the people out of the land of Egypt, afterwards destroyed them that believed not. You see what I'm saying? Don't get it twisted. He loved you, showed you grace and all that stuff. Remember, he destroyed the people he gave grace to. That he saved. Right? Then verse 6, and the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitations, he had reserved in everlasting change under darkness into the judgment of the great day. But how you don't play? Even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh. What strange flesh? Animals too. they get down, are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. So Sodom and Gomorrah is an example of what goes down to all those who practice such things. Yeah. So let's get it. Let's 2 Peter. A little bit to the left, Rose. Chapter 2. 4 and 5. So Ahiah is warning us of. So what Ahiah is really doing. No, what Ahiah is really doing is he gave us the origin. Ahiah gave us the origin of our adversaries, right? And he's showing us examples of those that were overcome by them. Right? He showed you all those in the wilderness was overcome by these demons. That's people don't understand. That's what it was. There was all our foreparents and witnesses was overcome by these demons. Right? All those in Sodom and Gomorrah was overcome by these demons. That's just what it is. You know? And to this day. You know? Like, who you gonna serve? You're only gonna serve two masters. Either one will overtake you in love, or the other will take you in evil, in hate. You know? Well, let's go. 2 Peter 2:4 and 5.
The book of 2 Peter, chapter 2, verse 4, and it reads, For if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment, and spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly,
Keep going.
and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an
See how you brothers on
overthrow.
the same page?
Mhm.
Peter and Jude on the same page, saying the exact same thing. Remember, all these things was done as written for example and a warning for us to learn from. So we ain't say the same thing today. Remember the days of old.
Mhm.
Let us not get caught slipping and thinking that we got time. We don't have time, right? I was talking to a brother there on the phone. The brother told me that next year they're gonna go to the Passover. I said, bro, if it be a highest will. You know what I mean? Yeah. How you know you gonna make it to next year?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm trying to say? Because if you read in these scrolls, once that hour of necessity is called, there is no repentance. The hour of necessity is what? The day of higher said it's a wrap.
Coffee or so.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we don't have that, but we keep counting on that. You don't have it. Like I said, I was just talking about my drivers a couple days ago. They in the mountains and they witnessing a truck flipped over with a dead trucker. Scares I don't know what. Because like I said, you don't know. So how can we count on something that we can't control? What we can control is repenting and getting our life together in harmony with Scripture, because this is real. These demons cannot control us if we control our members through the strength and the prayer and the power of the Most High. So let's go.
Verse 7.
He's showing you Noah did it. His sons did. He saved 8 people out of billions of people. Right? Then you go ahead, get it.
Starting at verse 6. I'm
7.
7. And delivered.
You're right, go ahead.
Yep. And turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an ensample unto those that after should live ungodly.
Read that part right there again. Making them a what?
Making them an ensample unto those that after should live ungodly.
Right there. It's still standing today, like we told last week, as an example. Okay? So all those that want to follow the demons, fire and brimstone. Let's go.
And delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked.
Vexed with the filthy behavior of the wicked. The filthy conduct of the wicked. He was upset by it. Let's go to Mark chapter 5. One through 19. Don't start no fire over there, Mike. I see flames.
Woo!
I know I see some flames over there. You said fire and brimstone, you big boy. You better repent, get that water.
Put the cap on. Put the cap on.
Oh, this is flat, this thing on fire.
What thing?
The plastic color.
The plastic.
The tablecloth.
Hey, burnt your tablecloth, girl. First thing you done brought it. It lasts a whole lesson.
So Jesus was on.
I'll leave you at home next.
He said,
Oh.
Talking about hell all day.
all day, fire and brimstone. Hey, came down, show their presence.
Mm.
I'm just some fire glow over there.
I heard it
He
myself.
was over there though, not over here, 'cause he might not understand.
They said, woo. Put no tablecloth back on
Let's get it.
there.
Matthew chapter 5, Mark chapter 5, verse 1 to 19.
Mark 5.
Verse 1, and it reads, And they came over unto the other side of the sea, into the country of the Gadarenes. And when he was come out of the ship, immediately there met him out of the tomb of a man with an unclean spirit, who had his dwelling among the tombs, and no man could bind him, no, not with chains, because that he had been often bound with fetters and chains, and the chains had been plucked asunder by him, and the fetters broken in pieces, neither could any man tame him. And always, night and day, he was in the mountains, and in the tombs, crying and cutting himself with stones. But when he saw Yeshua afar off, he ran and worshipped him. And he cried with a loud voice and said, What have I to do with thee, Yeshua, thou Son of the Most High God? I adjure thee by Ahia, that thou torment me not.
Check it out. The demons know they sinners, right?
Mhm.
He said, I command you in the name of higher not to torment me. That's what adjure means, command, right? You know what he said, wait, I thought it was more time. He count on time too. You know what I'm saying? But let's get it.
Verse 8, For he said unto him, Come out of the man, thou unclean spirit. And he asked him, What is thy name? And he answered, saying, My name is Legion, for we are many. And he besought him much that would not send them away out of the country. Now there was there nigh unto the mountains a great herd of swine feeding, and all the devils besought him, saying, Send us into the swine, that we may enter into them.
Unclean spirit, unclean vessel.
Mm.
Unclean food. Let's go.
And forthwith Yeshua gave them leave, and the unclean spirits went out and entered into the swine, and the herd ran violently down a steep place into the sea. They were about 2,000, and were choked in the sea.
So see that this one man got 2,000 spirits in him.
I was gonna say, that just shows how many spirits can actually be in somebody.
So like every so-called like these emotions that we have, anger, fornication, drunkenness, these are our spirits. There's
Schizophrenics.
spirits.
Mhm.
That's what Christ is showing us. Right? All these side effects are spirits.
Mhm.
Like it's a spirit for everything. Any kind of temptation is a spirit for that. How he says a cure for that, there's a spirit for that.
Mhm.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? No, it's real. It's a spirit for that. Like our father Judah tells us, like these are spirits. He tells us spirit of fornication, spirit of drunkenness, the spirit of lust, all these things. There's a spirit for that. This brother had 2,000. He had a lot of lust. He had a lot of old life going on. Right?
Ooh, that's Legion.
But today his brother be in what? A solid
Oh,
center?
yeah.
A solid
Insane asylum.
insane asylum?
Con.
Right?
You know, and that kind of reminds me of when people have to go to exorcisms and whatnot when they try to get the demons out of people. Sometimes they can't constrain the people and they just breaking off. You can see the power of that spirit, and that it don't be the person, it's really that spirit that gives them that, you know.
What's the difference between exorcism and casting out demons?
One is by Satan.
Con, the exorcism, they just use a greater demon to kind of subdue the demon. And when you cast out the demon, like when Yeshua does it, he really gets that demon.
Yeah, he goes to the Most High
Con,
in the name of Ahia.
Con,
I rebuke thee. You know what I'm saying?
Con,
Yeah,
that
I
demon has
get
no,
out.
he's out of there.
Yeah, and
They want
remember, Ahia's got an order, right?
Con,
Order and rank and all that kind of stuff. Satan has rank too.
Mhm.
So that's what we just read. The leaders of these demons, they're leaders. So he's calling a leader over these ones. So they're submissive to the greater evil spirit,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, excuse me, that's the reason why they say Satan, when they say Beelzebub can't drive out the Beelzebub.
Yeah. Because they're talking about the main demon.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Now, let me ask you a question. How much time do y'all got?
We ain't got a whole bunch of time.
No, seriously.
Oh,
How much time
like-
you got tonight? I mean, because we can get into this thing, or I can cut it short, and we can have communion.
I'm free. I just need two. I gotta have two of those ago. It's so good.
We can get it.
Start those.
That ain't time. I made hot chocolate. Well, they did say something.
Do y'all want to take a break and eat?
Let me make this.
All right. No, that's in the group. Y'all take a break and eat and come back, because I can cut it short, or because we really just get into the fleshly part.
Okay, let me.
Look, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 more precepts, but there is not the scriptures. How much time do you guys got?
I got all.
You got all night? You got time? You got time?
Yeah, good. You gonna be in here?
Who? Who's old boy? No, I'm saying we can cut it short. Yeah, we fine. So y'all can go. I can cut it short, but y'all can get to it. We can get into it. Y'all can get into it.
You got 12 more?
All right, let's-
Give me a break to eat.
Can y'all do that?
Yeah, we can buy.
No. How about you eat and we'll get it because we're communion too.
I got it. This ain't nothing, I just gotta go put it together.
Okay, let's get it.
Come. All right, starting back off at the verse, the book of Mark, chapter 5, verse 14. And it reads, "And they that fed the swine fled and told it in the city and in the country. And they went out to see what it was that was done. And they came to Yeshua and see him that was possessed with the devil and had the legion sitting and clothed and in his right mind, and they were afraid. And they that saw it told them how it befell to them that was possessed with the devil, and also concerning the swine. And they began to pray him to depart out of their coast. And when he was come,
Now, do y'all see that? Here go a brother that didn't see a miracle worked upon, but showing not only him was possessed by demons, the rest of them was too.
You want them out?
But who wanted them out?
They did.
They wanted righteousness out of this area
Exactly.
because they possessed too. They possessed with lesser demons. Those who are more violent as the 2,000 that was in him. But for them to be blind to what Christ just did is showing you that they overcome too.
They want to
Right?
keep it that way.
They don't keep it that way.
Right.
His right mind, he was just crazy. Y'all scared of him. Now his right mind, and y'all seen it. Yeah. But now him, they want Christ out there too. Well, let's go.
And when he was coming to the ship, he that had been possessed with the devil prayed him that he might be with him. Howbeit Yeshua suffered him not, but said unto him, Go home to thy friends, and tell them how great things the Lord hath done for thee, and how and hath had compassion on thee.
Yeah. So that's what's going on with our people, man. That's why we can't look at our people in the physical form.
Right.
So with this person, this person, that. Nah, they possessed by demons. You know, if I had compassion on this man, I had compassion on the other child, right? Let's go to Matthew 17, verse 14 and 21.
(17, 14, 20, 21).
Yes, sir.
That's to the left. There, bro.
Good job, Roger.
In the book of Matthew, chapter 17, verse 14, and it reads, And when they were come to the multitude, there came to him a certain man, kneeling down to him, and saying, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is a lunatic, and sore vexed, for oftentimes he falleth into the fire, and often to the water. And I brought him to thy disciples, and they could not cure him. Then Yeshua answered and said, O faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I suffer you? Bring him hither to me. And Yeshua rebuked the devil, and he departed out of him. And the child was cured from that very hour.
It's not cured. See how we're saying sicknesses are demons?
Mhm.
It was cured, right? Because in today's time, this person have about 30 pills a day you gotta take. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead.
Then came the disciples to Yeshua apart, and said, Why could not we cast him out? And Yeshua said unto them, Because of your unbelief.
You
For
see, this was a real challenge for them, right? Now, if they did the first time and got it right, it wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't have served them no good because it took a different level of belief in what the work that they was doing prior to that, right? So there's stages, there's levels to your faith and your spiritual growth and your spiritual gifts, right? They was casting out demons this whole time, but now how is trying to make them grow. So he put something before them, cause them a challenge for them to say, to not be so comfortable and confident.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You still got a long way to go, my son. Right? So Shai was showing them, yeah, you're doing right, but it's a long way you got to go. You'll never get to the point where you think you got it. Right? That's what I said, because your unbelief. Right? Christ has full belief in his Father, full knowledge of his Father. We don't. Right?
Mhm.
So one day we will. But right now, there's never a time for us to be confident and think that we got this thing. You know what I mean? So let's go.
For verily I say unto you, if ye have faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, Remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. Howbeit this kind goeth not out by prayer, but by prayer and fasting.
See that?
That's what it takes.
Yep. So let's go to so Christ telling us that we have to cleanse our vessel out and submit ourselves to the Most High. Because that's what fasting is. You clean out your vessel and allow him to operate in the spirit. Revelations, I'm not gonna excuse me. I don't want to go Revelation 13. But let's get it.
Okay.
Chapter 13 and book of Revelations.
What is that, Brother Roland?
Huh?
What is that?
Oh, to the right. That's the last,
It's the last book.
that's the last book, bro.
Revelation 13, kind of.
Now this is dealing with the powers and the principalities and Satan, right? First one. It says, and I stood upon the sand, it says, and I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads were the name of blasphemy, right? The beast which I saw was likened to a leopard, and his feet was likened to the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his authority, his power. So right now we're dealing with the 4th beast, right? And in the book of Daniel, in the book of Baruch and all them books, Ezra and stuff, it goes through the last 4 powers. And right now, what you just read, it was a combination of the 4 beasts. So, but it says Satan gave these beasts his power. So his children are in full authority of his kingdom. What we saw earlier, how he needs vessels, how he gonna set up his kingdom through his children, right? So it says their name is full of blasphemy. So his children blaspheme the name of God and everything that God created. That's why they teach there ain't no God. There's many gods. Everything that they teach is blasphemy. So it says, and I saw one of his heads as it was wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast, right? So Rome was so-called destroyed, but it healed. Now it's in the fashion of America. And they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worship the beast, saying, who is likened to the beast? Who is able to make war with him? If y'all really understood these Jewish people, you'll understand what this is saying. They really do say this. They really do believe this. Okay? Verse 5. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. And that's what these world powers, especially America, do. I'm not going to get on detail because we got to keep going, but y'all know that the whole system is blasphemy. Everything they teach is blasphemy. They believe that they're the cure for mankind. The New World Order, the United Nations, their whole goal is to bring peace to the earth. Right, supposedly. It's blasphemy. The highest said he would do that. And power was given to him to continue 40 and 2 months, a short period of time. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, and blasphemy his name, and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. Right? So it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. So who's the real war against though? These world powers, who is the real war against? The saints. Right? Right. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. So all those who are not doing the law, 7 commandments, whether they will believe or not, they worship Satan. They worship Satan, and their names not written in the book of life. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity should be led into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 thorns like a lamb, and he spoke as a dragon. Okay, you better go. 646. But you are downtown though, so
646.
yeah.
I didn't say it.
What?
I'm looking at my watch.
Oh yeah.
It's 546.
Yeah.
Forgot that. So used to 20.
Yeah. It says, and he exercised all power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceive them that dwell on the earth, by the means of those miracles which he hath power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by the sword and did live. So that's why I say all the time, don't knock what he was saying about what would be going on with them, because Satan do wonderful. I mean, do wonders, do powerful works, you know. And people are deceived because that's part of the deception. If, like I said, you believe, if Satan did one of the things like gave you some power to do something, how can you tell the person that it's not of God? You know what I'm saying? So that's part of the deception. It says, and deceive them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them, I read that. Verse 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that has understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. That's 666. So it's showing you that Satan has a system, right? It's about to be a cashless system. He's turning this system to a cashless society. He's going to cut loose all the aid that he has done for mankind, right? Only you're going to be able to buy and sell is if you get this chip.
In the right hand.
See, but before he was able to serve him unknowingly, right? But there can come a time real shortly where everyone will have to make a decision. Who are you going to serve? The wicked realm or higher? Right? So that's what really is showing you that Satan, the system is not of men, because it's saying that system is the beast, and it's like, you know, Satan has power over the beast. He's giving them the authority, power, the resources, everything. He's put it in their minds to have this one consent, to war against the saints, right? So, but don't take that mark. Wait a minute. Isaiah 14, 12 through 16. We have to read this in the book of Enoch.
What's that there?
14, verse 12 through 16. So we talked about the origin, first of all, the fall of these demons' fathers, right? We're going to read that,
You said Isaiah what?
14, verse 12. Okay. This is to kind of summarize things for y'all. We read about the origin of the demons, right? The origin of demons is that their fathers fell from heaven. They got locked up. Remember it says, he locked them up in chains and in the darkness. But we're gonna read in a little while that 90% of them got locked up because of the prayer of Noah. Noah wanted all of them locked up. But Satan asked how can he have 10%? Can he have some and how he get 10%? So ones that's up right now was 10%. But then the Bible talks about a time when I ain't gonna allow one of the angels to go, unlock the gates of hell, and those 90% would be let loose, and they let loose right now. So that's why the earth is where it is right now. Like they're out, you know. So let's go.
The book of Isaiah, chapter
So
14.
we talk about their fathers, the demons' fathers. We talk about their children who's ruling right now, and the king of them, Lucifer. Okay, so let's go.
Verse 12, and it reads, How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground?
What's that son of the morning? Is a lot of people want to say that the morning star is Satan, not Christ. Well, in the book of Job, it says there's sons of the morning star. So it's like the choir of heaven. Satan was one in the choir. He was a singer. That's why he's over. I say he over the music industry because he's singing the most high. You know, so his name that he's the only one. No, there's a whole bunch of them. Okay, go ahead.
How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weakest the nations?
The weakest of nations. Right, go ahead.
For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Ahia. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north.
Well, he said he gonna overthrow Ahia. Let's get it.
I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High.
Like the Most High. Is he? Has he fulfilled that?
No.
Yeah,
Why you say no?
Doing what he's allowed to do.
But he made a promise. Why you say no?
Oh well, I mean he's done that with airplanes and all this, but he ain't.
No, that's not what he's saying. He have the whole world is subject to him. Subject to him.
Right now.
And the Bible says that he deceived the whole world. The whole world think that they serving. He said, "I'd be like the Most High." He said, "I'm gonna be God." He said, "I'd be like the Most High." The whole world think they serving the Most High, right? He had deceived the whole world. He had them serving him, right? So he is above everything up on earth. He has dominion on earth right now, right? So let's go.
Verse 15, Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble?
Check that out.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? Everything Ahia is going to bring it to the forefront. Every person who is not written in the book of life going to see who they serve. Imagine that. Like, wait. I done gave my soul up for you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's part of the judgment. That's part of, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's part of it. Ahia going to say, this is what you chose to serve over me. Right? Watch him get destroyed. Same way he made he made these the ones in prison watch their sons get destroyed. Same thing, right? Even in the resurrection, right? All mankind will be resurrected, right? All those in the book of life be resurrected. All those not written in the book of life be resurrected. And those who are not written in the book of life are going to see the glory of those who are written in the book of life. And they said they're going to waste away in shame and get cast down into the fire. But he's going to show them what they could have been first. That's judgment.
And then isn't it the fire when he showed them who he sent to him? Was that when they're in torment?
Mm-hmm.
Now, we even look
Remember, he went on there first. He could be locked up.
Okay.
Then he be let loose. Yep, go ahead. So let's go Isaiah 34:4. But he gonna show them straight out. This what you chose to serve. You're like, is this the man? You know. Now, it's a lot of scripture with high talk shaking the heavens, right? What that mean? I will shake the heavens.
you said shake,
Mm-hmm.
Scroll, search it.
wake it up.
When he said he'll shake the heavens, the earth, and the sea, right? Like this morning, I had on a hoodie. I was shaking it. I was getting the things off my sweater that I didn't want on there.
Oh,
You see what I'm saying? He gonna shake off all the foul things. Yep. Everything that's unrighteous, ungodly, he will shake off. But let's get it.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 34, verse 4. And it reads, And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down, as the leaf falleth off from the vine,
See there? People.
and as a falling fig from the fig tree.
Let's go to I said Haggai.
Yeah, Haggai.
So you saw it.
Down there with the wars were in business with disease and I can't stand. Right before Matthew, a couple before Matthew.
Oh, I found it. Before Zechariah. Before Zechariah.
That's right there. That's it.
Past after Zephaniah,
Yeah,
before
so,
Zechariah.
yeah, so something like three, 4 books. Okay. 2:6.
The book of Haggai, chapter 2, verse 6.
Eat your food, sound like a big boy.
And it reads, For thus saith Ahia, Lord of hosts, yet once it is a little while, and I will shake the heavens and the earth and the sea and the dry land.
How you wipe all evil off this earth. You don't shake it, you know. Let's go to Genesis 49:10. All right. We're almost there, bro. And this is how you're gonna shake it. This is part of it. This is part of the prophecy that he was talking about Judah, but this is the means that he's going to use to shake all things. All right. Verse 10 said, "The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh comes, and until him should all the gathering of the people be. Right? For those who don't know, all nations will be gathered before Christ. Right? And it says every nation that has ruled over us and touched us will be destroyed. Those who did not know him and did not touch us will be spared. Right? They'll be given an opportunity. But like these ones who knew who we are and did what they did, Christ's gonna slam. Right? So that's why it be Gentiles up in the kingdom, because many of them don't know who we are. You
They put a star by that verse in my book.
Let's go to 1 Chronicles 21. Huh? What's that? Come here. You want bread?
Yeah.
What kind of bread?
Mine. My bread.
You want cornbread?
Yeah.
Cornbread.
Cornbread?
I want cornbread.
The cornbread now.
You gonna eat that cornbread?
Now, that's funny.
1 Chronicles 21. He love bread though, that's so. Now check it out. It's very important for us to understand, right? How we just read in Revelations how Satan used principalities to control over us and oppress us, right? And fulfill his will. So to show you that how he influenced the kings of the earth, right? Now here's a time where he influenced our own king, David. Right? Remember, when the king sinned, the whole nation sinned. Right? The king righteous, most of the whole nation is righteous. This is King David. Satan have puffed him up with a little pride and caused him to sin before the Most High. Right? Verse 1 to 24. I mean, verse 1 to 4. Now, Ahio told us not to number our armies, right? Why? Why did Ahio say do not number the armies or your people?
Because he's protecting us.
Nope. Yeah. You're right in that. You're half right in that. Okay. He said, don't number Israel, because the promise was that Israel would be as the sand of the sea, right? But the thing is, though, if you number your people, you'll build your faith in your numbers and not him, right? He said, it don't matter. You can have 10, 1. It's a billion. I destroy all of them. You see, one time when we were surrounded by the Assyrians, it was 2 angels destroyed one night, 185,000 soldiers quickly. So it don't matter how many you got. Trust in him, right? Yeah, but let's go.
The book of 1 Chronicles, chapter 21, verse 1, and it reads, and Satan stood up against Israel and provoked David to number Israel.
He stood up against Israel. Not just David, Israel. He's trying to destroy Israel. He's trying to wipe Israel off the map. He know if he get the king to sin, it can be a lot of destruction going on, because the higher destroy those that are disobedient. So he didn't stand against David. He stood against Israel. Remember, he's trying to destroy David because he knows that David is the promised one that he said Christ would come through. Right? He'll sit on his throne. So go ahead.
And David said to Joab and to the rulers of the people, go, number Israel from Beersheba.
Remember how Satan put them thoughts in our head? Do y'all get it what I'm saying? See what the scripture is showing you how Satan operates? Let's go.
Even to Dan, and bring the number of them to me, that I may know it. And Joab answered, Ahiah make his people 100 times so many more as they be. But my lord, the king, are they not all my lord's servants? Why then doeth my lord require this thing? Why will he be a cause of trespass to Israel?
So Ahiah is using the angel of presence to remind David, do not sin, my son. Huh?
I want
What's in your pocket?
A clue.
A screw.
A good.
Okay, you got a screw. You're like your Uncle Charles. You got a screw. Okay.
You don't know my own phone.
Wait, okay, we'll go back in there. We go home shortly. Okay, let they finish.
Verse 4. Nevertheless, the king's word prevailed against Joab, wherefore Joab departed and went throughout all Israel and came to Jerusalem.
See that? So Joab had to follow the order of the king, but no, son.
No.
Come on.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Sit down. It'd be good. So so when y'all read this book, just pay attention. How what's really going on, right? Satan has gotten into David. He might have a couple drinks. You know what I'm saying? The king's party. You know what I'm saying? They love you too. And he influenced David to transgress against the Most High. But now Ahiah, like I said, is trying to remind him through his servant Joab, like, why you gonna do this? Why would you sin against me? You know, Ahiah showing him like I've been since you was in the how you say that with the sheep up in the field, I've been with you. But David let the demons overcome him. Okay, so we have to constantly be on our guard, right? Yep. Let's get it. Let's go to 2 Chronicles 33, 1 through 10. And this is the story I was telling y'all about King Manasseh. Press it.
A puzzle.
Okay, you got press it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 Chronicles
33, verse 1 through 10.
The book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 33. Salakia, one moment. 33, verses 1 through 10.
So, when we read, and we all go through our reading of the Bible, when y'all go through our history, when y'all see that these kings was wicked, know that the spirits have overcome them. Okay? Because it's not that they overcome them. What comes with that? Sacrifices and traditions and a way of life, right? That's just ungodly. So, let's go.
Verse 1, and it reads, Manasseh was 12 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 55 years in Jerusalem,
55 years.
but did that which was evil in the sight of Ahiah, like unto the abominations of the heathen, whom Ahiah had cast out before the children of Israel. For he built again the high places which Hezekiah his father had broken down, and he reared up altars for Baalim, and made groves, and worshipped all the hosts of heaven, and served them.
Mm-hmm.
And he also built altars in the house of Ahiah, whereof Ahiah had said, in Jerusalem shall my name be forever. And he built altars for the host of heaven in the two courts of the house of Ahiah.
So, Mike, so Satan's been like the Most High. He's over his people right now. He has taken down all of the high Hezekiah put in there and put his own statues in there. He's controlling God's people. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 6, and he caused his children to pass through the fire in the valley of the son of Hinnom. Also he observed times.
So why is he sacrificing his children in the fire?
Straight sacrifice.
Why? Why does Satan inquire? See, remember power. The kings. See, the Bible says, "Man will not be satisfied with silver alone." Right. So the kings of the earth. See, when we read about our king controlled the whole world, not just that territory, the whole world. Right. So that's why Satan wants to control our people. Right? Yeah, I see you too. But check it out though. The kings require more wealth, more prosperity, more power, more dominance. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's why they're sacrificed. That's why I said Baalim, Belial, they're all the same. They're all Satan. They're all the same. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why he says Satan is the god of prosperity. So Manasseh ain't just serving Satan for nothing. He served him for that, things come with it. Go ahead.
And he caused his children to pass through the fire in the valley of the son of Hinnom. And he observed times, and used enchantments, and used witchcraft, and dealt with the familiar spirit, as with wizards,
Now, last week in law class, we talked about the witches, right? Well, a witch is a female, and a wizard is a male that practices magic.
We learned that to be rich.
Let's go.
He wrought much evil in the sight of
So now,
Ahab.
when he got these people, he's going to the people to request things. Like he's going to his wizard, asking them favor from the spirit world, right? So he knows exactly what he's doing. He's dealing with sorcery at a high level, right? So go ahead.
He wrought much evil in the sight of Ahab to provoke him to anger. And he set a carved image, the idol which he had made in the house of Ahab, of which Ahab had said to David and to Solomon his son, in this house and in Jerusalem, which I have chosen before all the tribes of Israel, will I put my name forever. Neither will I any more remove the foot of Israel from out of the land, which I have appointed for your fathers, so that they will take heed to do all that I have commanded them, according to the whole law and the statutes and the ordinances by the hand of Moses. So Manasseh made Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem to err, and to do worse than the heathen.
To do worse than heathen. You know what I mean? So that's the whole thing.
Wow.
So Manasseh, he's king. But I'm saying he's a king. But say that convinced him that he can give him more than what his father had. You know, your father had this right here, but you can have this. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. Let's go.
So Manasseh made Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem to err and to do worse than the heathen, whom Ahijah had destroyed before the children of Israel.
Let's stop right there. If y'all keep reading that, you'll see how. Let me read this little part for you. No, I'm gonna stop because Ahijah had locked them up. Ahijah had the king of Syria go and tear out the frame, like I said earlier, and then then he humbled himself and he came back and he did what was right. Right. So, but let's go because he knew he was raised up. His father was righteous. Right. But let's just keep going because we gotta go. There's 3 more. Stop, son. Stop it. Matthew 12:43. Yeah. 3 more precepts. 43, yep. So again, it just shows you how the rulership has a lot.
Okay. I want to get it. I want to
Flip
get it.
it down. Thank you.
I can
Thank you. Good job. What's good?
Too heavy?
3 more scriptures, sis. Open up that wine for me, okay? Do you see the opener over there?
I go to the page.
Okay.
We're going here.
Hmm?
We're going
Go ahead,
here.
read.
The book of Matthew, chapter 12, verse 43. And it reads, when the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places, seeking rest, and findeth none. Then he said,
So that's what happens for those who sincerely get baptized, right? When you get baptized, it says when the unclean spirit is gone out of a man or woman, he walketh through dry places, seeking rest, and finds none. Boy. So when the higher cleans out your vessel, when he gives you a clean start, okay, when you fully repent, commit yourself to the Most High, okay, the unclean spirit, the unclean spirits, how it kicks out, right? Give you a fresh start, okay. Let's go.
Then he said, I will return into my house from whence I came out. And when he is come, he findeth it empty, swept and garnished.
So you've been baptized for a while. You are excited. Satan get angry. The demons get angry. They want to come back and see what to do. See how faithful you are. Okay. He will go back home. Go ahead.
Then goeth he, and taketh with him 7 other spirits more wicked than himself, and they enter in and dwell there. And the last state of that man is worse than the first.
And this is why you see people who get baptized, who leave the body, be worse than they was before they got baptized. Right? Because he didn't just come back. That one spirit, if you had 10 spirits in you, he didn't come back with by itself. It come back with reinforcements. Understand? So let's just keep moving. Let's go to who we at?
Matthew. That was Matthew.
Where you stop at?
45.
Okay. Let's go to Jubilees chapter 10.
Only water juice.
Hold
Or
on
the
a second.
water.
They almost finished.
Oh,
Stop. They didn't get it.
you did?
Let me get them in. Hold on. They almost finished. Last 2 precepts.
I got it for you.
I just want to read to y'all about what I was saying about Noah praying for them to be locked up. All right. So chapter 10, verse 7 through 9. Read. No, I'm gonna start from verse 4. Okay. Stop, son. It says, but do thou bless me and my sons, that we may increase and multiply. Son, chill out. Multiply and replenish the earth. And thou knowest how thy watchers, the fathers of these spirits, acted in my day. Son, get back. And as for these spirits which are living, imprison them and hold them fast in the place of condemnation, and let them not bring destruction on the sons of thy servants, my God. For these are malignant and stop, son. And created in order to destroy. And let them not rule over the spirits of the living, for thou alone can exercise dominion over them. And let them not have power over the sons of the righteous from henceforth and evermore. And the higher our God bade us, this angel telling them, and the higher our God bade us to bind all. And the top, son, and the chief spirits, blank, came, stop before we make it forward. Now go back on the couch over there, right now. Yes. Go back on the couch, like I told you. Or go on that one, either one up. Go on the couch, sit down. And the chief of the spirits, blank, came and said, Ahia, created, let some of them remain before me, and let them hearken to my voice, and do all that I shall say unto them. For if some of them are not left to me, I shall not be able to execute the power of my will over the sons of men. See that? For these are for corruption and leading astray before my judgment. For great is the wickedness of the sons of men. And he said, let the 10th part of them remain before him, and let 9 parts descend into the place of condemnation. And one of us he commanded that we should teach Noah all their medicines, for he knew that they would not walk in uprightness, nor strive in righteousness. And we did according to all his words. All the malignant evil ones we bound in the place of condemnation, and a 10th part of them we left, that they might be subject before Satan on the earth. And we explained to Noah all the medicines of their diseases. Who diseases? Their diseases. Together with their seductions, how he might heal them with herbs of the earth. And Noah wrote down all things in a book, as we instructed him concerning all kinds of medicine.
Together with their seduction.
Yeah. So that's what sicknesses and diseases come from, right? I'm just gonna stop right there. The last one was chapter 9 of Revelation. So that's enough right there. Let's stop. What I want to do. Anybody got any questions of that? Y'all sure?
Broke it down pretty good.
Y'all get it though?
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So y'all see, it's a spiritual warfare, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So what's the best thing to do when we're sick?
Pray.
That's pray.
Yeah.
Talk to the Father.
Because the part you didn't want to say, Mary ended up letting you know. That part that you did effect.
Yeah.
You know, work on that. They take heat off that. They can do nothing else. But when you fast and pray and starve those things,
Yeah. So even let's say for example, right? So you got some situations going on. First thing you want to do is pray before you go to a doctor. You know, don't rely on them. Pray first and then go to the doctor. That's what the Bible says. You know what I'm saying? But for all those that can join us in community, hey sis, what you doing?
Make a roll of plates and get it go.
Okay. I want to read some things to y'all about this communion, right? First, I want to go to John chapter 6. I'm going to read 22 to 71. Listen to what Christ is saying, okay? This is the real deal with the flesh and the blood, okay? It says, the day following, when the people which stood on the, hey sis, who's all,